Okay, I wanted to illustrate my digital readout on my radial arm saw. So what I've done is I've taken a micrometer and I measured a piece of MDF. So anyway, it's, basically a little over 3/4 inch. So, it's half of that is, 0.378. So what I've done is I've set my digital readout, or I've cranked it down so it's exactly that. I do have some test cuts I did before I started the video, but I'm going to just illustrate it to you hopefully really quick. And I've set a stop just to make sure I get the depth exactly right on the particular piece of lumber. So I'll make a cut real quick and I'll talk more about it here in a second. Let it spin down. And so I already made this similar cut on the other piece of wood. But what you see is you get basically a perfect lap joint on the cut. So you can dial this thing in really accurately. Now the question is why would you want to do this? Well, just think about this as being cutting tenons. I can actually cut tenons, very accurately. And then also, if you take a look, this takes a little bit of work of setting up, but you can control the thickness. You have to make sure that your tabletop is, perfectly flat. I'll probably break that up into a different video, and I'll show you more about that. But probably the main reason I want to do the digital readout is because this table saw has got the convenience, like the newer ones had like a hand crank that went in the front, but there's actually a little bit of play in there. So even though these saws can be very accurate because they're just a screw, so this is a Craftsman, so it used a 1/16 of an inch. So each turn was a 1/16 of an inch, but there was play in it. So as you moved up and down, it can move. So here it just could really dial it in. So let me just show you how this is actually implemented. So I'm going to crank this up so I can get the blade out of the fence. You can watch while I watch. Above the guard. Okay, now we got clearance. I'm going to swing this to the side. So what I've done is this particular readout, there's just a sensor here on the back, and I've 3D printed. Now this could just be a piece of wood, but the nice thing about printing is you could kind of dial it in and reprint. And I printed this solid, and I'm actually super happy with how little this flexes. And then I've got another one up here. And I could show you one of my earlier copies where I thought I was done with this particular version. What you see here is just a little channel for a pipe clamp to go, or a pipe strap, or whatever you call them, to go through there. And then this one is actually built to go exactly around the collar. So this is what took a fair amount of doing. So I started out with a paper template, printed out, do another paper template. So I got the paper template to fit the collar exactly, and then I kind of built this up after it. And the reason I had to redo this one is because the depth wasn't enough to allow me to swing, to put the saw behind. I really like to clear the desktop or this tabletop when I'm not using it, because I use it as an outfeed table, and just it's another work surface in the garage. So let me swing this back around. So I don't even remember where this is. This is kind of a cheap digital readout, but it's a Shane, but it's kind of nice because it's in 2 units. So the way I decided to implement it, I kind of wanted this to sit down flat on this particular piece, and this to go up, because I figured the weight was pushing down where it was always supported. But I did leave a rather long arm here, so I think maybe if I did it. If I ever did it again, I would have it go down, and then I wouldn't have to worry about this clearing, and then of course it would just be sitting on the screws. But actually, it's very accurate. I'm super happy with it. So anyway, just a idea of making your radial arm saw, a little easier to use, because like I said, it's super nice when you're cutting you know, dados, rabbits, or tenons. So you can see it kind of goes through there. Now I do have a dado blade set on this particular one. I just remind you, if you this has a control cut on it, that's a lot of teeth. So the thing is, but you could always just hog it out with a single blade as well. But anyway, it's worked out really well. Let me turn it off so I don't run the battery down. So it's just an idea for you radio arm saw people.